right, good morning, owls. Good morning, Parliament. Thank you all for coming today to watch this video. In today's video, we are going to be diving into THCP, specifically Delta-9 THCP. We're going to be looking at a variety of different gummies, and we're going to be looking at different test results so that we can really see what is it that we are purchasing. And then we also have a big surprise at the end of the video, so make sure to hang on tight. So let's just jump right in. I was basically researching Delta-9 THCP gummies. I came up and found, which actually is pretty fluky. It was fluky looky. It only just released on June 3rd. So this says 7 of the best THCP gummies in 2023. Now, first thing I want to say to you is this: whenever you're reading any of these, quote unquote, like the best gummies, you have to realize that majority of these are actually paid for advertisements. So the number one, it most likely just paid for number one. And as you will see in this, it's honestly a bit shocking that half of the gummies that said a D9 THCP in them maybe don't have any in there, but we'll look at it ourselves. So number one, we have here the best THCP gummies, and we have Everest THCP gummies. I've never heard of Everest before in my life. But the thing is when we go to the page, it doesn't actually exist. So that's sort of out. Number 2 on the list, we've got the Bee's Knees. So Bee's Knees is actually, I've actually spoken to this gentleman before, I forget what his name is, but these gummies actually do have Delta-9 THCP in them. As you can see, there is 1.6 milligrams. These are USDA organic, which I like. I probably like these the most out of all of them. The dose per gummy is, you're looking at 20 milligrams. So there's Delta-9 THCP in there. This is actually not too bad of a gummy. However, as you can see, there's just a potency test. So we don't really get to see what else is in there. But overall, these are organic. Would be nice to see a pesticide result to show that. But these have 1 milligram Delta-9 THCP. This is actually probably a pretty fair bet. Now, the next thing where you go down, now we go to the Torch Haymaker. Now, first, let me just start off by saying that, like, I'm not a big fan at all of this sort of like Chapo extracts, Cali Reserves. I think it's probably the same company, right? It's just all repackaged. And so when I'm looking at this, it's just like, oh, same shit rebranded, not very interesting at all. And then when I look at the Torch Haymaker Live Resin D9 THCP, D9 and THCX gummies, you begin to see that there's not actually that much in there. So when we look at this, the gummies themselves, so let's see, these are the Haymaker blend, and I think there's 30 gummies or something like that in there. But it lists off all of these different ones, and then you've got 1 milligram of Delta-9 THCP in there, 100 milligrams of Delta-8. I really just don't like how companies will say they've got all of these cannabinoids in there, and then honestly it's non-existent. So if we look at this, it doesn't mention anything about Delta-8, and yet there's 100 milligrams of Delta-8 in there, and it talks about having Delta-9, and there is no Delta-9 in there. So yeah, that's the THCP gummies that we're seeing, right? Let's see down here. So High on Nature, actually High on Nature is not too shabby. They're really potent. Again, just a pretty run-of-the-mill white label product here, right? Like the rainbow belts are just again, not too bad, but it's very run-of-the-mill. Sugary, sour, great, probably covers the flavor. They are super potent. Again, there's no THC Delta. Why don't they put Delta-8 on? There's no Delta-8 on there, but it's the biggest cannabinoid that's in there. The THCP, actually 3.8 milligrams is actually a pretty good dose. However, not really much testing there. And yeah, when it comes to like, you're definitely going to be high off those, but the ingredients, it's just sugar and yeah, artificial colors and stuff. So now let's jump in here and have a look at some of these high octane watermelon gummies, because as we came down the list here, I couldn't find any test results for the Chapo extracts. Be very wary of any of these, like listing off 5, all these different cannabinoids. A lot of the time they don't have them in there. And then you also have the Cali Reserve, the 11-hydroxy. I tried to find test results, I couldn't find them. And then the last is the Dymo Hemp Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC, Delta 8 and D9 THCP in there. So let's have a look. We jump in here, and what do we see? Okay, so it is primarily Delta 8 and 1 milligram of Delta 8 THCP, not Delta 9 THCP. So that's sneaky. Oh no, 1 second, is it? Yeah, it is. So that's, again, it's like there's just blanket statements like Delta 9, just THCP, rather than saying which one is which, I think is shady. So what are we seeing here is that we are seeing that there is just an abundance of, call it whatever you want, and let's just sell this to customers, right? They're gonna buy, and they're not gonna look at their test results. And that's why we want to educate you and show you how to make the correct purchases, because you're buying something thinking that that's what it's got all these cannabinoids in there, but it's predominantly just Delta 8. And so when we look at the Delta 9 THCP gummies, the first thing you see is that often they are lacking in their test results, and often there's not really the cannabinoids in there that you think that there should be. And so this really comes back to, well, what do we do about all that, right? And so the first thing I want to say is that when you are looking at your products that you're going to purchase, check those test results. The second thing is that you really just need to find the products and companies that you're able to trust. If you are somebody that uses like the Torch products or the Chapo products or any of those, basically looks like it's the same company, just rebranded, can you leave a comment below and let us know? Because it's just crazy how these companies are marketing themselves. So basically with this, it's just like, hey, if you're going to be buying Delta 9 THCP products, then make sure that there's actually THCP in there, and make sure that there's adequate amounts, so that it's not like you think you're buying something that in fact you're not. And so with that, I mean, let me know what your experience has been. The THCPs, for those of you that don't know, is going to have a far more extended high. And it is very good for people who would, I have to be careful what I can say, but if you have a lot of pain or you have issues with that, it's going to be something that you can have extended relief for longer periods of time without having to consume large amounts of cannabinoids. So that's what the THCP can really be used for. And so with that, I think it's very important for us now to check in with our surprise. We are here to introduce to you our Owls Heavy Dose Gummies. Are you tired of those shitty test results that don't have the cannabinoids in there that you thought that there were? Owls is here to save the day. And so let's have a look here at the Owls products that now are available on our website. Okay, great. So first thing that you'll see here, we packed as much Delta 9 into this gummy as possible. We're at 2.85% out of 0.3. I got 0.3, we got 0.285. When you look at this, you're going to see that we have an abundance of cannabinoids in here. So we have Delta 8, we have Delta 9 here. So we got 41 milligrams of Delta 8, we got 17 milligrams of Delta 9. We have Delta 9 THCO, and then we have 3 milligrams of Delta 9 THCP, and then we have 30 milligrams of HHC, with 21 milligrams of that being the psychoactive 9R HHC. And one thing you'll also notice is that our results are also done by KCA Labs. They are the most refined laboratory in America right now, and they are by far the best. And so, as you can see, we have a lot of cannabinoids. We've got 104 milligrams per gummy, I will touch base more on this with the heavy metals. As you can see, that there is a very, very, very minute amount of arsenic that comes from the brown rice syrup. We actually did another test, which you can see here. It's whether it's pass or fail, and you can see here that it is it's less than the reporting limit by like a long shot. So when you come down here, you will see pesticide free. And so every time you're looking at a test result, you always want to look here at the results, and you want to look here where it says ND. And then when it comes to mycotoxins, none. Microbials, 0. Residual solvents, 0. And so we really pulled out all the stops with these with this new product, and I can promise you that they are extremely, extremely potent. And the beauty about these is, compared with everything else as I've just shown you, there's actually the cannabinoids in there that you think that there is. And so this is not just Delta 8, it's Delta 8, it's Delta 9, Delta 9R and 9S, and Delta 9 THCP. These fucking rock. So that's it in a nutshell for you. We have them in assorted, we have them in a multitude of different flavors, and these are really, really, really strong, really body, really heavy in the couch, like for a long, long time. So 3 milligrams of Delta 9 THCP per gummy, everybody. So make sure to check them out on alzoil.com. Don't get scammed by these other companies. It's honestly a joke when you can look at it and see how much of bullshit that you're being fed. So don't do that. Buy Al's gummies. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching.